Welcome back, everybody, to the Centimetre Perfect AFL podcast, Just the Tips edition. That is Jesse. I am Liam, and we're back to tip round 16 action in the AFL. You can find us at CMPerfect_AFL on Instagram, on YouTube, and on your podcasting platforms for our podcast. Go listen to it, please. Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Jesse, how are you feeling about the tips this week, my friend?
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Because I feel like for all these games, we can just say team and mostly move on.
Yeah.
But what that means is one of those four games where I'm just going to say team and just about move on are somehow going to get beaten. And it'll be really funny, but if I get my confidence points in the wrong order, it's going to be a long way back.
Well, it's a good point, Jesse. What are confidence points? Why is that so important?
Confidence points are our weighted way of adding a bit of extra flavour to our tipping competition. Instead of tipping straight 1 point per correct tip, we assign a different point based on our level of confidence in the week's tip. 7 this week being our most confident amount of points, 1 being our least. Whoever has...
Yeah, go on. I keep forgetting my Apple does that. Keep going.
Yeah, you would be celebrating too after the bloody Suns. Whoever has the most amount of confidence points at the end of the season will be declared our confidence points champion. And Liam, your confidence in the Giants was well placed. My confidence in the Suns was misplaced. How did that leave us coming out of round at number 15?
It looked pretty good for me, Jesse. Here are the scores from last week. I added 23 to my total, taking me to 383. Back in the lead. You got 19, 379 for you.
My Apple doesn't do that.
No, your Apple doesn't. Do you want me to do it for you, Jesse?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll look at double thumbs because then we get... It's not going to do it now, is it? Making me look like a fool. Okay, just one.
Nope.
Wow. It did the balloons, but it wouldn't do the thumbs down. We digress. Thanks, Apple, for letting me down once again. Let's move on, Jesse, to game number 1 of round 16.
Port Adelaide host Carlton at the Adelaide Oval on Thursday Night Football.
Prime time.
Yeah. And look, I can't complain because Fred Eston was quite boring as well. But
That's all right.
I mean, yeah, it's fun when you're winning. Look, I'm just going to go first here because I'm the loser of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually written in my notes Port parentheses Psy close parentheses 1. And I think that sums it up. Port lost to a bad Sydney side, but they didn't lose to North. And they're at home. I think Carlton play Adelaide Oval as well as and a live person plays the Cemetery. I don't think they're going to win. I guess I have to give the Power the points based on that. In terms of actual analysis, I think Port can absolutely win the contest battle here in the midfield. I think their mids are just better than Carlton's are. And right now, Kerner's ineffective. We don't know what's going on with Mackay in the medium to long term, and I don't think Carlton can fill the void around that. So even though Port's defence is very questionable, I think pound for pound across the ground, they've got a better team at the moment. If Port do get a hold of the Blues here, I think it is a possibility we might see the end of Michael Voss if he ever makes it to the Oval on Thursday. But Liam, do you have a dissenting opinion to that? Do you think the Blues can get it done and propel themselves back into the finals race?
Listen, I think the Blues could get it done because, as you mentioned, Power and Carlton, we don't know what either of these teams are doing this year, other than being quite terrible at football. But I've joined you with the Power with one tip because, yeah, I think you put everything together quite nicely, Jesse. I don't really have anything else to add, but I just hope that at least we get an entertaining game of football for our Thursday night. I doubt it, but I hope. Let's move on to Friday night footy.
Friday night footy, the SCG sees Sydney hosting the Dogs, both sides with 2 wins on the bounce and a critical juncture for both these sides. The Dogs now back in the 8, having had to chase for a couple of weeks. The Swans have gotten themselves to 6 wins and therefore given themselves a mathematical sniff in getting into finals, but there still remains questions over their capacity throughout the rest of the season. Liam, can the Swans parlay this momentum? Because there's been a bit of chatter about how they're going in the last couple of weeks and potentially rejoining the finals race. Do you see that being the case, them getting a win over the Dogs here?
Look, if you look at the way the commentary spoke about their win last week and you think they're back on board, and my vibes are telling me there's a chance. Dogs with 4. I think the Dogs are too good at the moment. And they're going to run roughshod on the Swans. I think the Swans at home this year haven't been the formidable side that I thought they might be. As you know, earlier in the season, I was like, Swans at the SCG, maybe they're at home. They have not proven that to be a mecca by any stretch of the imagination. So Bulldogs with 4. I'm just liking what they're doing. Jesse.
Dogs with 5. The Dogs have probably earned a bit of a flat track bully tag throughout the season. They've beaten up on a lot of teams below them on the ladder. I don't think Sydney's a very good side. We talked about it in the main show, so go click on the round 15 recap if you haven't already once you finish up here. But essentially, Sydney's last 5 weeks, despite having 2 wins, has still been rubbish for the most part, and they're still not damaging opposition teams. I can't think of many more damaging sides in the comp right now than the Dogs. When they get a hold of a team, it can get pretty brutal, and I think we may see that here. I've gone them with 5, if I didn't say that at the top.
You did.
I did. I don't see a world where Sydney can win this unless the heavens open and it just becomes 3 hours of pure unadulterated boredom. That could work. But if there's any element of free-flowing football in this game, I think Footscray will be too strong.
Fair shout. Let's move on to Saturday.
Gold Coast hosting the Demons at People First Stadium. The Suns desperately need a win after 3 losses in a row, slides them outside the top 8, while Melbourne needs to just keep things ticking over for them and keep rebuilding as they look almost certain to miss the finals this year, bar a stunning late run. I've gone the Suns with 2. And a fortnight ago, it probably would have been the Suns with something like 5.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth caveating, they've lost to good sides, and this is the first bad side they've played in a few weeks. But to caveat the caveat, they need to beat the good sides if they want to be a genuine finals and or premiership contender in 2025. This is a good opportunity to reset, though, and just, to quote Taylor Swift, shake it off.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. The players may hate, but they've still got the Coolangatta Airport. They can get this done. I do think the Suns will be too strong for the Demons, especially with Melbourne coming off the bye.
Good chat. I also have gone the Suns with 2. And again, I have to echo your sentiments. I think if it was a few weeks ago, it'd be the easy Suns, high tip, high confidence game. My only worry about this is that the Demons have shown that they can turn it on in the last month and a bit. Obviously not the last 3 weeks, or 3 games, I should say. But the Suns, I'm worried about their momentum. I'm really worried about them. And the reason I only went 2 is because I can actually see the D's getting up on this game. And that would be really sad. But if the Demons do get up, I think the Suns might be done. I think...
well, if we assume the Dogs win, and I won't spoil the other results, but there's 3 other teams in the finals bracket playing that we haven't talked about. Assuming they all win, which is based on confidence points likely, or at least 2 are likely. That's a long way back because they've got a game in hand they have 1 game in hand over the Giants by the time this round's said and done. But that's still a long way back for them if they do lose this game. So this would be, I think you can start to get a bit nervous as a Suns supporter right now, but I think a loss here would be panic stations.
Agree. Let's move on to the next one.
Hawthorn hosting North Melbourne down in Launceston. We've had some good games down in Launceston. Even with the cold, it's been some competitive footy across the board. Liam, can we see a bit of a surprise with the informed Kangaroos knocking off the Hawks down at UTAS?
Hey, listen. Last time Kangas played in Tasmania, they nearly got over the reigning premiers, so who knows? But no, I think the Hawks should be too strong for the Kangas. Hawks with 5 for me. Look, the Kangas can be a surprise packet, but they just can't finish games. Simple as that. And when you've got a team with the quality of the Hawks, I think it should be a fairly easy win for them. Jesse?
Yeah, I agree broadly. I've gone Hawthorn with 4. I think Kangas last 6 weeks is worth shouting out. Draw against Brisbane. 3 wins in that time. In that time, they've managed to beat Carlton, who are ahead of them on the ladder. They beat West Coast, they're behind them. And they beat Richmond, who are behind them. But they've also managed to take Fremantle to a 1-goal game as well. So they've been in pretty good form. That's why I haven't gone all in on Hawthorn, especially coming off the bye. In saying that, they should be able to get the job done. I think Hawthorn have more than enough positional strength and tactical genius. It's the apprentice versus the master in the box at UTAS in a place they would have gone many a time as player and coach. Now they clash at opposite coaches' boxes, but I do think Sam Mitchell and his list will have the wood on Clarko this week.
Fair shout. Let's move on, Jesse, to the next game, which I don't think we need to spend too much time on.
Well, I want to offer you a proposal. It's Collingwood versus West Coast at Marvel Stadium.
Okay.
Can we add something interesting to this because obviously it's going to be Collingwood with 7.
Collingwood with 7, yes.
Can we add a bit of extra flavour for this?
Okay, all right, here we go. I like this.
If
you're speaking to my gambling side, Jesse, I can tell.
If you guess the margin within 5 points, you get 5 confidence points.
Ooh,
within a 5-point bracket.
5 point. Okay. Fuck it.
You up for it?
Yeah, go on. So I'll just put Collingwood with 7 on our little scorecard here, so I know what you've got. Okay, Jesse. Now, whose tip was it to go first?
It was mine, but given I've issued the challenge kind of unprompted, I'm happy for you to go first.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to say 76 because I feel like Collingwood might just coast this towards the end.
Okay. All right. What should I do? Will they rest players? Will
I don't
they
think they'll
take
rest
nobody
players.
over there? No?
They might rest like Pendlebury, but I don't think they'll have like sweeping changes to the squad. I'd be surprised if they did.
What was the caveat again for the extra 5 points? Just
got to be within 5.
Within 5 points?
Yeah. Or we can make it closer to pin if you want.
No. 5 points is better.
Okay.
So she means 5 points on the line, Jesse. It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
I won't spend too much time on it. I'm going to say...
Say just a number.
102.
Okay. That's a big win if that happens.
Yeah, it's a huge win. Look, it's either going to be one of those ones where the Eagles just, have a crack and it's like 45 points and the Magpies are like, training drill. I'm not going to take it too seriously. Or they can just solidify. They can just
murder under a roof.
That's it. We might see that. All right, let's move on to Sunday footy.
Well, from a footballing murder to a murder of crows because they travel to the MCG to take on the Tigers for Sunday football. Richmond struggling for form. Adelaide not really struggling at all. Liam, how do you see this one going?
Well, the Crows are going to win.
Okay.
So that's that out of the way. They're going to win. They can put 6 confidence points on it because realistically, this could be the other 7-pointer. If the Tigers can do anything here to get close, it'd be a good game, be exciting because I like seeing the Tigers do well. But the Crows are going to be too good.
Yeah.
Not much more to say.
I agree. Crows with 6. I would love to see the Tigers have a bit of a go at this, but right now they just look undermanned against a lot of these good sides, and Adelaide need to start winning comfortably at the G, and this is a really good opportunity for them to just get the basics right. So they may not go out and be all out brutal against the Tigers, but expect them to just have a really refined, organised structure, and that will just, I think, be too strong for the Tigers.
Absolutely. Let's bring it home, Jesse. Last game of the round.
The in-form Fremantle hosting the out-of-form St Kilda at Optus Stadium. The first time the Saints have played at Optus Stadium against the Dockers since 2022. It's been a long run of games at Marvel between these two sides. But thankfully, Liam, the Saints are back in town for Sunday afternoon football. How do you see this one going? Because, of course, the Saints did rather humiliate Fremantle not that long ago. Can Ross go 2 from 2 over Justin Lomua here?
I mean, yeah, probably. Maybe. The Dockers have to win this game, right? Like, they've got a pretty tough run coming up, and if they want to keep themselves, locked in that top 8 spot, this just needs to be a win. That said, I'm going to put 3 points on the Saints to lose this game. Dockers with 3 for me. Dockers with 3. I think I'm not going hard out on it. A, because a lot of the other games took those high confidence points, and B, like St Kilda are a bit of a bogey team for us. I don't like them. It's like Saints and Carlton. Every time we play those two teams, I'm like, oh.
And we don't even have a Northern Academy. So what's their issue? What's the deal? Is it just Ross? Is it because we traded Heath Black like a football card for years?
Yep.
No, you have him. No, you have he's going to put him in the drawer. No, you have him.
That, I think that Ross might still hold a little bit of resentment to the Dockers. I don't know. Maybe. Could be the fact. Don't know. Jesse, what are your thoughts, though?
Yeah, Dockers with 3 for me. But I am alarmed that nothing has actually changed tactically, or at least very little has changed tactically between that loss early in the season in front of that footy and this game. Still doing the things that I just don't think work in the AFL system, such as extra man at the contest, the reluctance to really flick the switch and attack for more than 10 minutes at a time. It's these things that allow good coaches to set up booby traps. And I think Brad Scott had a couple of booby traps that we managed to get out of at times on Thursday Night Football. It's also a massive break as well for the Dockers too. Thursday night into Sunday afternoon football the following week. That's a good break. So the excuse count is just about 0.
Haven't left home for the last month and a half either, or month and a bit. So
Your skews count is almost at 0, but yeah, obviously very wary when it comes to JL versus Ross because Ross is, he's humbled Longmuir a fair bit in his coaching run. I think the recent record for St Kilda against Fremantle is very strong. So just worth caveating that.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, well, Jesse, that's the round 16 tips done and in. I do like your little idea for Collingwood West Coast, giving this round a little bit more flavour.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the season, so we've got to start adding in some sillies.
A few sillies here and there. I don't mind it. And because obviously we've tipped pretty much the exact same for the rest of the games.
I mean, Port's the same. The only difference is what Dogs and Hawks swapped around in points. It's identical apart from that.
Identical. So now we've got the added caveat, the added fun time of the points. I like it, Jesse. 5 extra bonus points on the line. That's it. Send people home.
Thanks, Liam. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into another episode of Just the Tips. Drop your comments down below about who you think is going to win. And why don't you add some confidence points in as well and even have a go at guessing the margin of that Collingwood West Coast game. Until next week, enjoy the footballing weekend and we'll see you soon for more tipping fun on the Sentiment of Perfect AFL podcast.
Bye, everybody.